Hi, my name is Scott Wright, and I'm an animator of 20 plus years, 20 plus years, oh my gosh, 25 plus years. I went to Sheridan College in the early 90s. I think that makes 25 years. From there, I went and worked at DreamWorks Animation for 17 years, working on 2D and 3D animation. I worked on Prince of Egypt, El Dorado, Spirit, Sinbad, and then transferred to Sinbad. Then I transferred to 3D and worked on movies like Shark Tale, Madagascar, Over the Hedge, Flushed Away, B Movie, How to Train Your Dragon, and more. Lots more. I've also worked on Scooby recently at Real Effects. I've been freelancing for years. I've worked at Disney. I am currently working at Disney on a 2D show, which is awesome. I've been doing lots of 2D recently. I jump around a lot. I do storyboarding, 3D animation, 2D animation. I've done layouts, both 2D and 3D over my career. I have a kind of a huge knowledge of both 2D and 3D, especially going to Sheridan College in the early 90s, where it was all 2D animation, draw all the time. So from there, I learned tons of different tricks of how to pose and design and create like appealing stories within a pose. So that's what this course is about, the 2D power up. So I'm going to take I'm going to take some of that 2D knowledge that I got, and I'm going to give it to you and help you with your 3D designs. All right. So let's start right now. So let me just share my screen. So here we go. So I have the awesome toy. Share. Press the share button. All right, so I have the awesome toy rig here. He's awesomely designed from the beginning. So I mean, the first step of designing is done for us, which is like awesome. So that helps us out a lot as an animator, is like having nice character designs and stuff like this. So I'm going to give you a cool trick. So this is something that we learned at Sheridan in animation classes and stuff like this, and design classes, is that there's all these different rules and principles to help create designs and create something appealing that the audience likes. All right. So what I've done here is I'm gonna show you as a secret. I'm gonna show you something that everybody sort of knows but never uses correctly as an animator, or a lot of people do. I shouldn't say nobody, but when they first go in, I don't see this. I see people using this principle, but not in the way they could. They don't use their full power. They don't use the full power of this knowledge. Now, so what I'll do is let me just jump over here just for a few seconds, and let's just go on this screen here. I'm gonna use my grease pencil just for a second, and I'm going to show you. So what I'm going to talk about is, oops, actually my grease pencil's not on that. Maybe I'll take this one back. Let's see if the grease pencil is attached to this one. Oh, hold your horses. Grease pencil. There we go. Now I got it. Oh, I got it all over the place here. Let's just delete all these for a second. All right. So what I'm going to talk about is like the rule of thirds. Now, I know you're like, oh, rule of thirds. I know that one and stuff like this. So yeah. So those who don't, I'll explain it real quick in this little drawing. Is that generally what happens with the rule of thirds is people like just throw it on the picture plane, the movie screen or the TV screen or the computer monitor. And the rule of third is basically your eye wants to go to these little sections. So you put the most important thing there. So what'll happen is you'll put a character there. And now that I've shown it, you'll see that it's everywhere. You'll see it all the time in TV shows, games, videos, like so much. It's like all over the place. You'll see that, right? So how do we use this as an animator? So this is what awesome. Like when we were at school, and like the beginning basics design principles, we learned that, and I was like, oh, this is easy. I'm like, I mean, you just throw all your characters there. Now you're going to go like, Scott, but animation wise, I don't do that. I mean, how can I, as an animator, I don't have no control over the layouts and all that kind of stuff. And you're right. So most of the time you don't. So I didn't think about that. But then as we went into more and more design classes and character design classes and stuff, we started talking about this stuff. And then we start bringing out like Glenn Keane picture drawings, or James Baxter's, or even farther back, all the 9 Old Men. And they started putting this rule thirds on poses, and everywhere I went, every pose they put it on, it was like, it was there. And all of a sudden I looked at my drawings and I was like, oh my God, I'm totally missing this. I can see how they're saying there's no action, there's no movement, there's no design in this. And I'm like, it was like a big shocker to me. So now, let's start this, like now that I'm sharing my screen and stuff. So let's start this. Let's get rid of this first. And let's just go to my first frame. So first, let's just talk about this here. Like, oops, there's the center, all right? So let's go just kind of break it up a bit in a third. So there's the third, and sort of there's a third. It's not a horror. It's actually, that's not a third at all, right? So third, and oh my goodness gracious, sorry, third. So let's just say that. So right now the character's sort of in the middle, so that's not really that helpful. So that's not working for us. So let me just grab this for a second, because I prepped this. So there you go. Let's just put this back to 0. So, and show, oops, or not. There you go. Hello, 0. There we go. All right, so step 1, right? So again, layout people are doing this for you half the time in animation, but in case you're doing your own tests and stuff like this, there. It's not completely balanced, but it's definitely, using the rule of thirds. I'm putting the character on the side. Right, so let me just deselect for a second. Let's just get rid of that one. All right. So pose 1 here. So now, how do I do this as a character and stuff like this? So yes, we have this awesome toy rig, and let's break it up. So I put this in this pose, and I'm not saying this pose is horrible or anything like that, because it's okay. It's it serves a purpose. It might be what the director wanted. It might be what the story or the emotion of the character wants. But let's like design wise, let's talk about like making it a better design. So let's go like this. So I'm gonna just do that grid, but I'm gonna do it on here. So I'm gonna take the farthermost part of each side, and this being the top. Oops. Just put a grid there. Farthest side over here, and just put a grid or line there. Goes all the way down to the bottom, like that. All right. So now let's break this up into in thirds. So let's do a better job than last time. About a third, and about a third. Oops, that's maybe a little bit lower, and make it straight. All right, so that's about third. So you can see how he's in this, his face is in the center of this line. His hands are sort of over here, kind of on this one's kind of on the third line, but there's no real focus on what's going on. So yes, I have an okay line of action through there. I have some okay posing, but how do we make this even better? So let's just jump to, hold on, let me just jump to my next one. So here we go. So now I've moved them over. You can actually see how we can even probably do this a bit better, but you can see how, oops, you can see how I'm now in that line. Oops, actually I'm in that grid. I'm in this grid here, right? I'm in this grid, right? So that's already better. I mean, we can even play with it even better. I think, let's just grab, hold on, I got my other monitor has controller, so we can even push it a little bit more, like say I probably dropped them a bit more. Hold on, I'm an animator who does not show manipulators, so let me show it. So I'm gonna just, right, so then his head, you see his head is in that pose, right? So much better. Let's turn that off. All right, so this is much better. I'm now focusing. I'm using that rule of thirds. I'm using this quadrant. I'm on that line. His body is on that line. So I've already created a better pose than this one. Like just by moving it over, putting him in that quadrant right there. Right. So how do we get to the next stage? How can we even improve upon this? So let's go to this. Let me draw this. So we can even do it on the microscope. So basically that's the big picture, right? So now we want to do like the smaller, like we're going to break it up even more. So what I'll do now is, where's my pen? Right, so I'll go like this. So I'm going to do it on the head as well, because this is a focal point for me on this, on my pose. All right, here's a focal point. So let's, oops, actually, let's really do his hair. Let's do everything in here. So you can see this. Now let's break this into thirds. Now I got some things going on that are good, right? So you can see that his nose is on that line, his head is sort of on that line, but do I want to focus on the nose? Not really. Or maybe I want to like push it up or down or something like this. Let's play with this. So you can see now here's this is getting a little bit better, but let's play with it even more. Let's grab his head, see if you can rotate, maybe focus on one eye, oops. Hold on, let's do this. Maybe there. Right, let's try to get the eye. Let's try, see if you can get that eye is the focal point. Maybe even down a little bit more. Right, so now, again, so not saying the other one's bad, right? But you have that going on. So we can even, I don't know, maybe even one, there's other rules. Actually, let's do this. I think this, let's focus on this eye. That's actually creating depth too, which is some other rules. But yeah, I think that's even better for me. So focus on that eye, whoop, right there. All right, so let's we can even break it up even more. There's more to this as well, because we can actually go and do the whole thing. Like we can start breaking it up into hands and stuff like this too. So if I wanted to, we can do, so I won't do this drawing, but I'll give you an example. You can get, say this. So maybe it isn't the head's the whole focal point. Maybe it's this part here. All right, let's break this up. Right, so maybe this is part of it too. Like how can we build off this? Maybe I want to move the hands up here, maybe the eyes up there, right? So it's like you got to think of like what's your main focus. All right, so let's stop that for a second and then go to this one here. So let's push this even farther. Let's deal with this like more in like even a smaller scale. Let's try to fix his hand. So we did the head, you know, we've done, oops, hold on. Oops, I rotated. I should copy this head over. So let's copy this head over to this one. All right, so let's play with this hand as well. Let's play here. So let me draw this one for a sec. So let's see if we can make these hands work too, or maybe I've already done it. That's like oops, this one's a little off on the third here. Let's try to get this. Let's try to get this working. So I grabbed the third, and let's try to get this hand in that cube. Hold on, let's see. Let's do this. Let's grab his arm. Maybe push this one here. So again, I'm trying to get it in. I'm going to get it in. I'm trying to get it in this quadrant, that quadrant, that quadrant, just to make a little bit nicer design. There, already better, right? This one's pretty good, but let's try to see if we can put this in this whole square, right? To play with it. Let's just try that. Just grab the hand. Just grab the hand. So I don't want to get off this though. That's my only negative right now, because I need to fill that box, both the left and side. So I'm going to pull this out a tiny bit. Let's pull this. There we go. All right, so let's see what the previous one, look, see there? Let's turn off my grease pencil. Grease pencil. Turn off my manipulator. There to there. All right, design-wise too, we're just designing this hand now. Oops, apparently his teeth need to, are moving, but but already playing with that. So I mean, there's other rules too. Of course, the flow and line of action and straights versus curves and all that kind of stuff. But this is one that I use constantly. This rule of thirds, not just in the global idea of the screen space, but the character pose as well. So in class, I'll grab some 9 old men drawings and I will draw this grid on top of it, and you'd be like, mind blowing. Like, it's like insane that they were doing this all the time. And like after time, I don't know, do they know they're doing it, or just because they went to so many art classes before, they've taken so much life drawing, they've studied so much from life, they realize that this is happening all the time. Right. So that's how I do it. And then on top of that, and I usually do it through focus. And I mean, obviously, having a character balance in your screen is totally acceptable. There's tons of reasons to be doing it, but you have to know the reason you're doing it, right? So actually, you have to know why you're doing it. You can't just do it for the sake of doing it. You want to make sure that everything works into each other, right? So even if I break down like more like his feet. So I want the globals always the most important, right? And I don't want to screw up that. But yeah, we can even go like, oops, I turned off pencil, right? So here, like even the feet, this kind of idea of the design. So I think I did actually do this when I was doing it. So you can already see I'm sort of like, I mean, that's why I like the feet, is because I'm actually doing it, right? So you can see that I'm using this, I'm keeping this foot in that quadrant, right? I'm getting this one in that quadrant. We could even probably fix this one a tiny bit, like pushing it down here, right? So that's the rule of thirds in a pose, all right? So it's totally a word you've heard, now you're gonna start using it in your posing. So this is just a sample of something I'm going to do or talk about during my, where is my screen share? All right. This is just a sample of what I'm going to talk about. So taking all those 2D things you've heard about, the design, straight versus curve, flow, repetition, repeating shapes, repeating patterns, repeating lines, golden ratio, all that kind of stuff. I love that kind of stuff. This is why I got into drawing, and it's why I love posing and I love animation. So look forward to seeing you in my class and us talking about 2D power-ups in a 3D world. All right, talk to you later. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you in class.